Hello, dreamers. Welcome to the Dream Stream. I am your host, Yiskah Koock, here today with my fellow dream worker and friend, Ellen Ronis. Welcome, Ellen.
Thank you. Hello.
Hello. So I just wanted to start this by saying I was just watching before we did this. I was watching The Big Lebowski. That's on Netflix again, and it doesn't matter how many times I see that, it really makes me laugh. And I think also Jeff Bridges is one of my favorite actors, and another one of my favorite actors is George Clooney. And the reason I'm giving him a shout out is because I heard him on a podcast called Smart Left, with Jason Bateman and others, and he was saying sometimes he likes to fall asleep while listening to podcasts, and I like to do that too. So I wanted to recommend a couple of really conducive voices and pace to fall asleep to. And the first one I wanted to recommend is Renegade, which is President Obama with Bruce Springsteen talking about their wives. I think they didn't make enough. I don't think it's like an ongoing thing. I think
it's always the two of them. Always those two.
I don't know that there's an always to it, because it might just be 2 or 3 podcasts. But yeah, the two of them together.
What an interesting combination.
It's great. It's great. Yeah, Michelle had really promoted it because she said Bruce is like the best guy, the best like family man, big heart, big dad. So and the second one that I want to offer to George Clooney is Preet Bharara, who was an attorney in the Southern District of New York until he was fired by Trump. Trump came on the scene. So I love his voice, and often he's on with Ann Milgram, another voice. So I'm sorry to say, these are the soothing voices that will lull you to sleep. Not as an insult in any way to those beautiful voices, but they're just calming and conducive.
Okay.
But I think, Ellen, that you had a big dream. Is that right? That you were...
I had 2. Well, yeah, last night was so crazy. I woke up at the middle of the night. I was like, whoa, that was intense. That was, what did I say? That was tough. I remember literally said to myself, wow, that was a tough dream. And then I just went back to sleep. And of course I don't remember it at all. So never mind that one, but definitely this thing's cooking and being stirred up in there for sure. For sure. But I did have two dreams.
That you do remember.
That I do remember. Yeah, I'll share the first one, and then if it seems fitting, I'll just go into the other one. They were one day apart.
Do they feel like a part of the same?
No, not really.
Then let's do
Actually, they were 2 days apart. Who knows? They probably
have a similar theme.
They don't really, maybe they do, but I don't know, because how in writing it, I wasn't really analyzing it. I was just I'm not even really sure. I haven't really played with it too much myself.
Okay, good.
I'm noticing I have like paint in my hair. I was just doing a painting class.
Oh, that's nice.
Oh my God, maybe it's clay. I don't know. I'm all into the art lately. I'm doing every possible art thing. Anyway, sorry about that. Okay, so the dream goes like this. I'm somewhere in the woods with a pathway. I'm assigned this particular horse that we have here on our property. My housemates own 4 horses, and the horse's name is Oros, O-R-O-S. And he's a big brown horse. And I was assigned him as my horse. He was heftier and darker brown than in real life. He goes missing. He goes sort of on walkabout and goes missing, and I'm anxious. Where is he? I'm responsible for him. So I run down the pathway and I see him. I'm reading this, obviously.
Yeah, that's fine.
In the short distance. At the same time, I see a small black kitten sprawled over something white. Could have been a bird or another small animal, but it had angles. It almost felt like it was like, I don't know, like plastic, or I don't know what it was, something small and white, but the kitten was kind of like sprawled out over this white thing as I see the horse Oros in the distance. Blah, blah, blah. I pick up the kitty because I know the horse is going to be coming this way. And as I'm going to wrangle him, the kitty is limp, dead, ? So I'm not sure if the kitty is dead or just limp, and doesn't seem quite dead, but definitely like sort of lifeless. Not sure what's up with it. I move it off to the path and go to Oros to calm him and jump onto his back on my belly, then right myself so I'm on him bareback. Except for, so it was bareback. I know it's terrible to read because it's very choppy, but I was bareback, but there was a blanket, and it was I have a blanket on my bed that's my mother's an old blanket of hers. It's a beautiful sort of Native American, very sort of pastel-y, but Native American colors. And that blanket is on the horse.
Okay.
So I thought that was pretty interesting.
Yeah.
Then Jen, the woman who owns the horses, she comes down the path to see what's going on, and she is incredulous that I'm bareback. And I say, well, I've got to get him back somehow, as if I'm being responsible for my charge. I started up the path, but felt like I'd not done it right.
Oh.
So I kind of know where that comes from.
Wait,
actually.
share as much as you're comfortable with sharing, and
okay.
Don't share beyond that.
So I kind of, well, I don't know if she's there, but I kind of feel like that here in this household. Like I feel sort of invisible. I feel sort of like incidental. I feel like it's like almost feel like I'm being a good girl, which is kind of like how I was when I was little. Like that's kind of what I thought. If I'm a good girl, I'll be loved, So I almost feel like I'm a little bit like that here, like making sure I wipe the counter the right way and do everything, So I think that's why, because suddenly she came down. And then all of a sudden I was, before I was like, I'm taking charge. I'm going after my horse. I'm jumping on it. I'm going to bring it back, and then all of a sudden I was like, oh, I'm not doing it right. So so I think that's the feeling of that last bit. But I thought it was kind of interesting. I don't know, the black kitten,
Yes.
And the limpness.
I was picturing my big black cat, Puma. It's a kitten.
No, it was a little kitten, and it was just like, ugh, when I picked it up, and it was like I don't know, like it was sprawled all over something that I just can't place. Like if it was something biological, or if it was something like plastic, I just don't have a sense of it.
Is it an air conditioner? Is it an air conditioner?
An air conditioner?
Yeah, you were saying it's really hot.
Oh, it is. It is really hot. Oh, that's so funny. Maybe it was. It's as good of a guess as any. And horses, let's see, horses for me in my dreams tend to feel very masculine, whether it's a female horse or a male horse. This happens to be a male horse, but
I think we've talked about that because one of our dream teachers, Robert Moss, equates, or how I understand it, I guess it doesn't have to be male or female, but masculine or feminine.
I think that's what I mean.
A strong feminine energy, of course. So I
think okay, that's super.
That's just interesting.
That is super interesting. Yeah. So that is really interesting to me. It's like this, maybe it's because it's this big being between my legs. I don't know. But I've always had that sense in my dreams, even when I would dream about horses as a kid, or, early on in my life, it felt like a masculine presence somehow. Yeah. So that's interesting. I'm wrangling him.
And I wanted to talk about that too. Do you remember not long ago, I had a dream that I titled The Wrangler?
Oh God, I do. What was that dream about? Yeah, I do
remember. I actually don't remember.
Yeah, I don't remember, but I do remember this. Yeah.
Yeah, because when I published it, it's on the website or on the the post. When I published it, I wasn't remembering. Hang on one second, okay, Ellen?
Sure, sure.
Sorry for pausing it. It's just funny. I think it was you who had the dream about the Wrangler.
I believe it was. I'm saying, wait a minute, was that? Yeah. So all of a sudden.
And this was the point I was going to make, is that I wasn't sure if it was Wrangler with an R or Wrangler with a W. And
I don't know what Wrangler with an R actually means. Is there such a thing?
Maybe not.
I don't know. I mean, I was thinking Wrangler, like,
yeah, like with
like wrangling, wrangling up like a cat or whatever people wrangle.
Right.
Cattle, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's so interesting because in the dream, there was no wrangling. There was no actual like that kind of, it was more like, what's another word? But that is interesting that I said wrangle, like collecting, pulling in, getting back, that kind of thing. I don't know. So I don't know why I said wrangle. But that's the word.
Yeah. Do you have a name for this dream? Or what would you call it?
I was going to say lost and found, but it's not like that. It's like, it's the sense is like going on a walkabout, and then being led back home. So I don't know what the title would be, but like a walkabout.
I feel like your previous 3 dreams that we've worked on together have been about a walkabout.
That's really, I appreciate your like memory of these sort of things, because I don't even remember.
A motorcycle and going up the path.
Yes.
And then there was
right.
Oh, maybe it wasn't a motorcycle, a bike.
It was a bike. Yeah, it was a bike. Right, going all the way out, and then
and being topless.
Being topless and vulnerable.
Vulnerable. Yeah.
Wow, that's interesting.
I'm thinking in this dream, the expression, it was like herding cats. I think that cat was just there and looking unusual. So the dreamer would take note of it and realize that expression, if it's my dream, I'm feeling that expression, like herding cats, might be a little bit of why I feel anger right now. Because the thing about that is, cats all have their own mind to do different things. And they don't want to listen to you necessarily.
Yeah, that's so true.
I do have one story, if we have time, I'd love to share with you about Puma.
Sure.
But so I'm wondering, where in my life do I feel like it's like herding cats? Like, yeah.
I mean, it doesn't totally resonate with me, but what I will say is that, so how horses represent in my psyche masculine, cats represent feminine.
Oh, I like that.
So it doesn't matter if it's male, female, that whatever color, it's just, so it's almost like the feminine, if I look at it like that, the feminine is kind of like, whatever, like not kind of lifeless.
She's tired, she's hot.
Yeah, maybe she's tired and hot, and
oh wow.
Yeah. And then there's this masculine energy that is kind of a free spirit, and
but
I'm having to collect it.
Say that in my dream. I know it will come back. I don't have to worry about that. That horse didn't run off. I know it will come back.
Yeah. Well, I don't know if I knew that in the dream, but
that you knew that when you were reading it.
Did I say that? No.
When you were reading it, it said
okay.
That.
Okay.
So what I was gonna say. Also, so the kitten is like lying on its back, like languishing, whatever.
It was lying like this on its front. It was like sprawled on its front.
Right?
Yeah.
Never mind.
And it was specifically over this thing, and I don't know if it was like trying to protect this thing or cover it. I don't know. There was something very peculiar about that aspect of it, but I don't have any insight on that at all.
Well, I suggest that we now go into the second dream and see if
Okay.
it's more like the other thing I'd like to suggest, and only if you're willing and wanting to do this, is dream reentry into the dream that
Okay.
you're not remembering. Because what did you say? That was intense when you woke up from it.
Mm-hmm.
I feel if it was my dream, I knew it was a big dream,
Yeah.
but I'm not remembering it. But and then this brings up what dream teacher Jeremy Teller always said. If you miss a dream, he said dreams are like good public transportation. If you miss the dream, the next one's coming by
Yeah.
quick,
Yeah. Exactly.
So really there's no fear in not remembering a dream.
No, I mean, I even said it to myself, I should just go write this down, but I'm so tired now all the time. I'm just so tired. There was no way I was getting up and writing a dream down.
When you say, oh, I'll just remember this. Like,
right. I'll remember this little snippet and then it'll just stimulate the whole thing. I didn't remember absolutely any of it.
But then I don't remember the one.
Oh, the one thing. I'll often remember the one thing, but then it doesn't, it's like, what?
It doesn't trigger your memory.
Trigger the whole thing.
All right, dream number 3.
Dream number 2. Okay. Whoops. I just went back to the same dream. Oh, here. I'm driving with the windows down hang on a second. I'm driving with the windows down through a neighborhood slowly. I see Dara, a friend of mine, with a little dog or a small child. She's holding something, and I'm not sure if it was a child or a dog, walking on a sidewalk along a very tall fence covered in plants and vines. She had a very funny haircut, sort of short and round in the back and longer in the front. When they saw me, the little one shouted, "Ellen," longingly and happily. It nearly broke my heart open in a good way. She was reaching towards me, and I stopped the car short to go to her.
Wow.
You know,
it wasn't a little dog.
I guess it was, yeah. But it's funny how even still, I don't have it. I still, like, in dreams, dogs can talk. So I don't really have it.
It's really.
It was either a dog or a person, but it was, I guess it was a little child.
What would you name this dream? Or title?
God, I don't know. I don't know. I don't know.
Okay. And so is there anything specific you would like to know from this dream?
I guess I'm really curious about, why she looked the way she looked. Like, why did she have that haircut?
Absolutely.
It's interesting because it's the haircut that my therapist has, kind of, a little bit. And, Dara in real life has, longish blonde hair, like doesn't have a haircut like that at all. But somehow I transferred my therapist onto her, which is not, what's true. Like, I don't do that with her. Well, maybe
which is
in
not
reality. I mean, I'm sure we do, it's just how it is with most of my friends. We're all, we all do that for each other. But yeah, I guess what else might I want to know?
Reality check it for us.
Yeah, I'm not even sure what I really want to know from it. It felt really, really sweet and so like, oh, this little being just like wanted me, and was like reaching out, like so happy to see me. And that just, felt so beautiful. And yeah, not exactly how life feels for me right now in general. And I don't mean I don't, I know I'm loved, it's a weird time. I'm not sure what else I can say about it. It just feels like a really weird time. Yeah.
if this,
And
if oh, do you have more? I'm sorry. The
no,
reality.
I don't think so. Yeah, reality check. I
How
don't
do you
know.
know your friend from?
We know each other from well, really, I think we met in Brooklyn through a mutual friend.
Okay.
But we mostly know each other from upstate New York. She moved to upstate, and then we moved there, and so we, we built community together up there, and so we have all that community in common. Yeah.
And does she have children in a waking life or each
She does not, but she has a little dog. She has a little dog that's been kind of unwell for a little bit, so maybe that was on my mind.
Yeah. So if this is my dream, I'm thinking somewhere, well, I'm thinking two things. First track is I'm thinking this is my inner child. If I
Mhm.
framework, where every character, inanimate as well as animate, is ourselves.
Mhm.
If that little girl that shines so much light on me and feeling
Mhm.
happy, like I'm thinking that's my inner self. So I have to get my inner child, right? Is that what they call it?
Mhm.
So they. Oh, those
Infamous they.
humans over there. That's what they call it. But yeah, so I feel like this is my joy. This is joy that's
Mhm.
me.
Mhm.
So I have all this great joy, and I'm a little bit disconnected from it right now. But
Yeah.
means that the memory of it and
Yeah.
body. How did you feel when you woke up?
Um, let's see. Okay, so I actually wrote, I felt a longing to run to pick her up and hug her and laugh and smooch and love her up. That's what I wrote. So that's how I felt. That's how I felt. I mean, I didn't do that in the dream, but that's what I wanted to do. Like I just wanted so much to just love her and play and be silly and like engage. And yeah, that does sound like it's what I really want. It's what I always wanted since I was very young.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And she seems to want my love too. She wants to play and be engaged with. That's
Yeah. About your inner child.
Yeah, it sounds like that.
Exactly like I looked at as a little girl. I think. Look in the Zoom. Look at where I see the school picture from when I was 6 or 5.
Hmm.
You have to stay in touch with our young
Yeah.
ones.
Yeah. That little one, the little one, who didn't get, certain whatever, we didn't get all of what we needed, right? None of us really did for the most part, even if we had good enough parenting.
And there was that longing.
Yeah, that longing to be seen and be engaged with, and it's like, and in actuality, it is really how I feel. Like, yes, how I felt when I was young, but it is something that I'm longing for now. Like something to spark that lightness in me, the playfulness, the happiness, I don't know, happiness, but that kind of childlike joy and silliness, just like so longing for that. And right now I just feel the complete opposite.
Wow. So I said that was one track where my head was, but the second track where my head is that I'm making all these assumptions from the first person. If this is my dream, then perhaps there's a child somewhere that I was really close with, who some part of her is longing for me in her life,
Mm.
or something I can offer her. That's
Mm-hmm.
another train of thought.
Sorry, I didn't hear the last thing you said.
I said that was my other train of thought.
Oh yeah. Well, I am coming to New York the end of July and into August. And I will see Maya, my little person in my life who's getting bigger.
Yes.
And maybe there's something.
That's what my assumption is, but it was my dream. It was my life, my dream. So Phelan still has the truck here. So
Oh, I thought he sold it.
he thought he did too. The guy never came. And now there's another guy that may be interested, but it's here. How are you getting east?
I'm flying.
Okay.
And I rented a car for a ridiculous
I know.
amount of money.
Yeah.
Ridiculous amount of money. But I
Spend
did
a
it.
day with
And my,
me. I'll pay, said spend a day with me. I'll pay for that day, the car that day. If I get to
I would love, it would be fun to see you actually.
Yeah.
It'd be definitely fun. You know, it's going to be a busy kind of thing, but I'm going to be there for a couple of weeks. So yeah, so it'll be good. Some of that time I'm going up to Maine, I think,
Oh,
for a
nice.
few days. Anyway,
how can you honor this dream, receiving my inner child,
yeah,
all her joy and sweetness?
I just had this thought of like, well, what did she want when she was young, when she was kind of yanking on mommy's, you know, pant leg, like, I'm bored. I used to say I'm bored, but what I really was is like, I need to be engaged.
Yeah.
I need you to see me and be with me, hang out,
Yeah.
play with me, you know.
Oh, that is exactly what she was asking. To be
What?
played.
Yeah, that's exactly what she was asking. So,
Not
I
wearing.
almost feel, sorry.
Go on.
So I guess I just feel like, you know, I have this vision of like sitting on the floor and like maybe having some just crayons or some art stuff, but like not making art the way I make art, just like just coloring or something like, you know, or maybe bringing home a little ball of clay from the pottery studio and just making something and just, you know, I don't know, being somehow just imagining that she's there, that I'm her, that, you know, I'm doing this in that lighthearted way somehow, if I can manage that. But really what I would love to find somebody that I can do that with. That I could play with, whether it's an adult or a child, just somebody that I feel like I can.
I always assign
that brings that out in me, I guess.
I always assign you these like volunteer opportunities, and you're like, yeah, I'm busy, I'm working, and you know, whatever. But I was just thinking, oh, you should like go into a children's hospital and create art with the children. Go to the SPCA and hang with the dogs.
Yeah, which is I mean, nothing wrong with those ideas, but I think this is really more about my own process, right? I mean, at the same time, that might actually stimulate that joy, you know, just engaging with someone does, right? It does kind of, especially children
are yearning to play. Yeah.
I mean, children really do that for you, right? They just put you so in the moment. They're just so blah.
That's all there is.
That's all there is. Yeah,
and
exactly.
You have to be like ahead of them as a teacher of young children.
Yeah.
So, you know, you're in the moment, but you're like, and what will the next moment look like?
Well, right. Being a teacher is a totally different ball game. Yeah. Which I do not have the desire to do. So
I'm not suggesting that. But I do think that there's more work that needs to be done. I'm calling it the second dream. You're calling it the first. But the walkabout dream, because there was no title for it. And I felt there was a little bit of unclarity. So if I'm looking from like this big intense dream that I can't quite grok to like an unclarity in the next dream, and then very strong clarity of light and joy and youth. Right, we've talked about before on this podcast how when you dream about a baby, it's not always necessarily a baby, her baby, you know, and that's what one of the things I was thinking about. But I didn't. It's not developed. It's just mating. But you know, it could be a new project that the young baby that will bring me so much joy, or I don't know. But so I would recommend that you spend some time with that dream, but also doing a dream reentry. And one of our dream teachers, Robert Moss, taught us that with shamanic drumming tape, or however, that we can re-enter our dreams. That will put us in this kind of dream state, theta, brainwave, and we can re-enter and gain clarity or fix something that maybe, which is not what I'm hearing from that dream, but that's another reason one might want to re-enter a dream.
Mm-hmm. You mean the one with the horse?
Yes.
That one, yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah, maybe be more curious about what was this thing underneath the kitten.
Yeah.
And
yeah.
Yeah.
But does that gesture remind you of anything? A cat flat on its stomach?
It could either feel like I'm kind of done. I'm done. Like I just don't have anything left in me, which feels feels like what's happening. I have and yet I'm doing things. I'm doing a lot of things, right now. And a lot of just a lot of projects and things. So I don't know, just lying prostrate.
Oh yes, it is like prostrate.
Right, I don't have anything, I don't know, or
so grounded. So
surrender. It wasn't a surrender. It didn't feel like surrender. It felt like, or the other thing that did occur to me was that whatever this thing was underneath, if it was something like plastic, because it did have sort of edges that made me think it wasn't biological.
Okay.
That maybe there's some message in this thing, or it's protecting something, or it didn't feel like protecting. It felt like it was tired. It was done. It had no energy, but it's, I don't know, something about that.
It reminds me of moments in my life where I have felt, well, I'll tell one of the moments when my dog Toby was dying, and people were saying, you should put him to sleep, you shouldn't put him to sleep. But I didn't want to. He was my guy, he's my guy. And I didn't see that he was in pain. Had I seen that he was in pain, I would have made the best decision for him. But it didn't say that. And I was on the porch dying, like any moment. And I was crying and saying, that gesture reminds me of, like, that's it. I'm out. I'm human.
Yeah.
I cannot dictate life or death. And I said to God, that's your call. You decide when he dies. I'm not going to take that on. That's pain. In that case, nothing. Doesn't matter what I theoretical thinking might be. But I felt exactly like that cat, like, I give up, surrender. Or I prostrate myself. It was exactly
like surrender. Yeah, that is kind of interesting. I mean, maybe there's something in the part of the feminine. It doesn't have to be feminine. It's just kind of how I generally see that. It could just be like the smaller, more vulnerable being of the two animals.
Oh, okay. I said I really wanted to share a story at the end.
Oh yeah. Okay.
I don't want to.
Yes, of course. Okay. No, totally.
So, as many of our podcasters know, I have MS, and so I have certain things to help me out, like a shower chair, and I have like a handicap thing to put it on, over the toilet. But it's really wobbly. You need both arms down on it to stand up. So I took a shower, and I was trying to get out. And in the past, simple as this task may seem, because I'm in the hot water, and that's right there really draining for a person with MS. I have taken a spill, like my chair dumped me out onto the floor in the past. So I know there's some danger in that. And I went to lift myself up on the toilet thing, and it started to wobble. And I might have started to cry, just for like, it wasn't that I was sad. I was just being bratty. Like I was feeling helpless.
Like frustrated, maybe?
Frustrated. Yeah. Wobbling. I didn't know what to do. So Puma, my big black cat, leapt from the wicker bench in my bathroom onto the closed toilet seat, with his wonderful girth to hold it down so that I could get up without it shaking.
Oh, wow.
I
What?
swear that happened. I swear.
That is crazy. Oh my God.
You know, he's just a love, a big black fat
He knew he was helping you. That's so beautiful. Wow.
I just wanted to say, my old dog, Sammy, who had visited us in a podcast before.
Yeah.
This was a different time, and I had fallen or my legs had given out, and I was on the floor again. So I pulled myself over to my bed cane, and I'm lifting myself up, and I had my other hand on the bed. But this hand has some difficulty, and it kept closing up and slipping off. Kept slipping off my bed, and I'm like, how long am I gonna have to stay on the floor? I just want to go in my bed. So I'm holding the bed cane. My one hand is really slipping off. Sammy came over to me on the bed and put his 2 paws on top of my hand to weight it down so it wouldn't slip off the bed.
God.
So these are the animals that are in my life. I feel so blessed. I'm so grateful.
Wow.
Thank you for that.
They know, they can tell. So smart and so intuitive. Wow.
So intuitive.
Oh, I love you.
My son Lev said, sure you didn't call him over there. And I said, honey, I didn't even think of it. I couldn't even think of that.
Because what was he going to do? What would he, I wouldn't have even known how he could help.
I didn't even think about calling him over because I didn't think of it. I'm not as smart as he is.
Wow. Wow. Wow.
Thank you for listening.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, that's pretty profound actually. Yeah.
Right? I know.
Yeah. That just reminds me really quickly of a video that I saw on some, whatever, I get sometimes caught up on this. I look at a video and then, it kind of has more videos after and you're like, okay, sure. I'm in that. That obnoxious scroll thing that happens, which I really trying to break that habit. But anyway, it was a video of a little baby, and it was an open window about, yay big, and the baby is reaching up, to the windowsill.
Yes.
And there was a big cat standing in the corner, and the cat comes over and takes its paw and starts to like do this to the baby, like, stop it, get down. That's, and the baby keeps holding on and keeps reaching because that's what babies do. And the cat leaps over and literally pulls the baby off. I mean, what? Yeah. They know, they just
talked about Oscar, the cat, who lived in that nursing home, can't remember where, somewhere in the Midwest, who goes to hang out in whoever's room that the person is going to pass away.
Oh.
And that's so then the nurses began to learn. That's what Oscar was doing. He'd sit by a door, nurse would let him in, he'd jump up with whichever patient, and then that person was like the angel of death. But only in so much as he's alerting.
Right, like this is going to happen soon. Thing. Wow. Yeah.
When Oscar sits in front of someone's door, that they have to call their family.
Speak of the devil, there he is. Right on cue. He's like, oh, me?
Oh, me? Let me lie down before you. So
it makes me wonder, all this talk about the intuitiveness of animals and the sensitivity and the love and the just care and all of that. Yeah. It makes me wonder what these animals in my dream were about. Just makes me wonder. Okay. There's some, that's all. Maybe that's a good way to re-enter.
I always think of the Native American medicine cards that David Carson created from the Choctaw tradition. And in that he says horse means power. So
definitely,
maybe, my power has left me, but I know it will come back.
And I need to rescue the feminine I need to rescue her. I need to pull her to the side for a minute and just let her, because she's in danger. And she's, oh man, this is all making sense now.
Okay, awesome.
She's strung out. Like that's me. I feel strung. I don't know, strung out a little heavy-handed, but yeah, like
you don't like puns. Oh
and
yeah,
I
I
don't
guess it's not really a pun. Well, never mind.
That's okay. I don't mind them.
He was totally strung out.
Yeah, like I'm kind of strung out and I'm like, have absolutely no, and I mean, this is, I've got like adrenal fatigue, not whatever, I've got some good issues with all of that stuff. And so I'm sort of taking care. I'm taking care of the feminine, which I actually am taking care of myself in that way. And I'm allowing this, I'm calling it masculine, but maybe it really is just power. The power, maybe that's an interesting thing, because actually power makes more sense to me than masculine as an interpretation of the animal, that horse particularly. So maybe it is about power, and I'm looking to get my power back. Horse power, right? I'm looking to get something back, like something it leads me, and
I'm taking a walkabout, and I'm wondering now, is this taking place in New Mexico where I live?
Yeah, it's hard to say. I mean, it was more green, and it was more of like a pathway. It almost seemed more like in New York or like upstate, somewhere in the Northeast, right? But but the horses and my housemaid, and of course they're here in Santa Fe. So it did actually feel a little bit more like here. And I have been thinking about that coming back. So
Hudson Valley.
The Hudson Valley has a pull. It has a pull. It has a pull for me. Yep.
They don't call it the closest thing to Boulder on the East Coast.
Are you serious? People say
they do, because the mountain. Well, and because about King Niwot's curse. So I wish I had more detail, but there was a native chief, and when the white people were like moving west and kind of pushing the natives, probably it's around the Trail of Tears, where the natives were being uprooted. Chief Niwot put a curse, blessing or a curse, on the mountain range in Boulder, and said, when anyone or when the white man sees this, like it will mean so much to him that he won't go any further west. So I'm making the correlation that I feel similarly about the Catskills.
The Catskills and the Berkshires and all of that. It's definitely, it's pulling me. We'll see what happens. Yeah, I'm leaving everything very open and very kind of okay here too. Like, there's things I don't like, but there's a lot that I do. And I don't, right. I'm almost building things. I'm almost kind of like reaching back rather than running away and going, I don't like it here, I'm going to go back, or I'm going to go there and create something. I'm kind of like, there are things that can work here, and let's see if there's something that works better over there. But if not, I'm good here, at least for now. I can make things happen.
Here's another thing I'm thinking about from your dream: the riding the horse bareback, and the back of the cat. The cat was splayed with its back up. I was riding the horse bareback, and then I was just lying on the horse. Did I ever sit up?
Yeah, I sort of jumped on my belly and then righted myself. I righted myself so that I was sitting up. Oh, and at one point I do remember, I think I didn't write this down, but I remember I was backwards. On the horse. We weren't moving, but I was like, wait, no, I need to turn around. I forgot about that part.
Well, it's bringing up my mom, who passed away in 1995. One of her best friends' name is Judy, who's also passed on, and they sit together on my council of elders in my little realm. But my mom had cancer, breast cancer, and Judy was giving her a reading, and she kept pointing to her back. And so then she interpreted it as, it's behind you now. It's behind you. When in fact, what it was that my mom's cancer had spread to her back. And so
Yeah.
that reminds me of a Talmud passage, which says a dream follows its interpretation. Not so in that dream. Right?
Mhm. Yeah. Yeah. That reminds me of Wanda Burch, who we both know as, part of Robert Moss's dream world.
Yes, yes.
Remember? Yeah. And her journey with that, where she
Wanda.
she dreamt of her cancer. She knew she had it before anybody else knew. Like she felt, she dreamt about it.
She could tell the doctors, even though they didn't see it, with the person where to look. Yes, quite extraordinary.
Yeah.
So, called She Who Dreams.
She Who Dreams. That's right. Yes. Yeah.
Okay. So I would think about, through my dreams, things that are now behind me. And so I said, because I was thinking, well, the Hudson Valley is kind of behind you because you've moved on. But I don't want to interpret it that way at all.
No, it isn't. I mean, I've really thought very much about it. It's like, oh, you can't go back, you can't go home because, all that sort of thing. But the truth is that I'm not, if I were to come back, I'm not going to like go live in the same exact town or the same house or be, doing the same exact things. It's like, I am a very changed person since I've been here.
Yes.
And I'm doing different things. I'm on about different things, and I will create myself differently. And so I feel that if I do go back, it wouldn't be, because I had to really ask myself, am I going, is it because I feel, like it's a safety thing, like, oh, I'm going back home because it just feels cozy and safe and it's home. But no, because it isn't that anymore. My community has sort of split up, kind of scattered around. Like it isn't the same at all.
We're a global community, Ellen. I said we're a global community.
Yeah, I mean, here we are, right? It's a very different world. And so, like what just, it doesn't actually feel like that. I really had to kind of grapple with that a little bit. And I really feel very strongly that it's not about going home, going back, going backwards.
So now with all of this new insight into that cloudy dream, might you have a title for it?
Oh gosh, there was a lot of people and like it felt like war of some sort, something like something like a war or
You're not ready yet.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know why the titles feel are hard for me today.
Yeah, that's just fine.
I just
call it untitled.
Untitled. Yeah.
Or untitled one, because there might be.
Yeah, well, there was 3. I didn't title any one of them, so they're all untitled. I don't think I spelled any of them today. I know. I don't know why that.
I won't name them for you because that's your personal journey.
Oh yeah, the one. Yeah, it was like going on a journey and coming home or something. That's a long title, but Walkabout. Right. It was Walkabout, something like that.
Perfect.
Yeah. Anyway, I don't know what this one was. I just don't.
Okay.
Maybe tonight. Sometimes when you like lay back down at night, you remember a dream that you had the night before. Has that ever happened to you?
Yes.
Yeah.
I have such a flavor or a feeling about the dream. Like grasp it. I used to liken it to like I'm trying to grasp, like shades that pull down. Like I'm trying to grasp the corner of a shade to pull it down.
Yeah, like just, right before it's going up. Yeah.
Right. So I have felt like that because there's a feeling and I'm like, oh, right. And then I'll have an image and sometimes it just doesn't come together to remember. And then it's time.
That's fine. That's okay. Yeah, that's okay.
On many levels, not just
Yeah, I think, I think it feels very multi-layered somehow.
Yeah.
And interesting, this painting class that I did with my friend today was also like that. It was very layered.
Oh.
And like, wow, what came out to me at first looked like a big old mess of blah, 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 kind of just a mess of color and line that didn't make any sense or relate with anything. But when we talked about it, it was like, oh yeah, look at how this is coming through, and that's layering over that, and that shape sort of connects with that shape. I don't know. Things do reveal themselves, but I feel like that's what's happening right now in general for me, and probably for many of us, is there's so many layers of healing that we're going through right now. I mean, there's planetary global stuff that we're all going through, and it's complicated and it's difficult because it's new. So, and that on top of our own personal psyches and personal processes is kind of like, whoa, no wonder I'm tired.
Well, Joseph Campbell used to say, myth is a collective dream, and dream is a personal myth. We're all kind of having a common experience. And also we have our individual experiences.
Right. Which is all connected too, right? Because we are all sort of connected, and we're not that different from one another. We all share the same human emotions, and
that's been one of the best things I've really learned in my middle age years.
Yeah.
How we are all so connected to each other.
Yeah.
Not that I ever was, anything, but I see it. I feel it.
Oh, that's so great. Yeah. That's interesting. I mean, I kind of sense it on some level, but I wonder. Anyway, it's probably too complex for this. We'll talk about it later.
To be continued.
Yeah.
Talk to you.
Yeah. So great to talk to you too. It's been a while. Yeah.
Thank you for listening, dreamers. So we want to wish you sweet dreams. Holomod Metukin.
Sweet dreams, everyone. Useful, meaningful dreams.